How's it going, XRP holders? Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. We're going to be talking about everything XRP here, really understanding what we're looking at and, of course, what we could be expecting going into Friday morning. If you're enjoying these daily XRP updates, don't forget to smash that like button and hit that red subscribe button, as it does go a very long way. But yeah, without further ado, let's take a look at what's happening with the market. I want you guys to focus over the last 1 hour. If you're looking across the board, we're actually seeing altcoins really picking up a heat, as we can see across the board. Pretty much everything seems to be up right now over the last 1 hour, which of course is always nice to see. XRP up about 0.4%. As far as the price is concerned, $2.16, valuation at 127 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at about $1.4 billion. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So look at this, guys. This is quite an interesting chart that I wanted to share with you guys, and it really shows you where the demand factor is really coming in for BTC, why these big institutions are focusing on BTC. And I'm sure all these big institutions and asset managers wish they could go back and not talk bad about BTC. Here, look at it. Bitcoin against, obviously, if you compare it to the US national debt, look at it from 2010 up to 2025. National debt increased from $13 trillion up to $36.2 trillion as of today. And BTC beginning was below $1, and right now it's ranging between $100,000, which again is insane to think about. Of course, the whole point of making this comparison is that if the U.S. government did get into BTC around there, they could have just pretty much paid off their, not necessarily paid off their debt, but pretty much obviously not have it as this high, especially obviously having it in BTC reserve. Of course, hindsight 2020, that's not how things work, but it is quite an interesting chart and really shows you how far this asset class has come, which a lot of people still just overlook. But this video right here, I might include this in my video. If not, I'll just kind of go over what's happening. Senator Cynthia Lumens is telling us that Bitcoin is needed in the reserve. We need to create a Bitcoin strategic reserve. You can see Senator Cynthia Lumens says the BTC strategic reserve is the only solution to America's national debt. So of course, now if we kind of go backtrack and take a look at this kind of makes sense. And here she goes in detail and says, BTC is, a revolutionary tech. And on top of that, in terms of currency as well, people that work really, really hard their entire life, can actually have currency that actually has value, that cannot be printed, because you can't just go tomorrow and start, clicking that printer button and start printing or populating more BTC into circulation. That's not how it works. Bitcoin is scarce, and over time the scarcity increases due to the fact that the reward gets cut in half every 4 years at the halving. So of course now you're starting to see so many people focusing. So how does this impact XRP and other altcoins, you guys might be wondering? Because now with this amount of demand, the fact that we're seeing so much money coming on board, these big players are going to be looking for a different opportunity as well, different coins with real world use case. Not everything is going to succeed, as we know. Real world use case, utility projects, and this is where Ripple XRP shines. Because it has been building for years and years, and of course I think it's really going to gain that positive momentum and exposure this time around. You're already starting to see that happening, and I think soon people will realize how important it is to build over the years. And XRP, I think, is really going to take over as one of the utility projects to really revolutionize the way we do finance as well. So moving forward, look at this Genius Act. This was posted by the National Cryptocurrency Association. So big moment for the crypto in the US. Here's what the Genius Act could mean for you. So strong protection for your stablecoins, clear rules for stablecoin issuers, more trust in using crypto for everyday payments and savings. If signed into law, this first of its kind bill would create the first national framework of a stablecoin in the US, a major step towards clarity, safety, and even more real-world use case. Massive. massive stuff, and just kind of gives you once again a little bit of more understanding of why this bill would revolutionize the way digital assets are looked at on a regular day-to-day basis, especially in the States. And moving forward, Genius Act signed into law in 2025. What are the chances of that now? Polymarket users predict an 89% chance that the stablecoin bill Genius Act will be signed into law this year. We're already obviously closing out the first half of the year. We're going to be entering the second half of the year. Are we going to see that happening? If that does happen, of course, like I said, that would be revolutionary to say the least. But really wanted to kind of go over this right here to give people once again a little bit of a better understanding as to what Ripple has really been doing. It's not just a company that says something and doesn't do it. They've been building over years, even with that massive hurdle that came in front of itself, with the SEC lawsuit that has been going on for quite some time. And obviously now it's pretty much on the neckline of getting, completely settled. But, you are seeing them making major moves. Look at these big institutions across the globe, not just in North America, we're talking about globally. And you can really see some big names in here as well. And these are, of course, Ripple partners. And it really shows you that these guys are not here to play around. It also shows you all these big entities and corporations across the board, across the world are actually focusing on this new emerging digital asset. And of course, the blockchain technology itself. And, they can leverage that with the help of Ripple and the XRP ledger, and of course, all the products and services that Ripple offers, which of course, hand in hand will benefit the XRP's price as well. Speaking about XRP's price, if you've been noticing over the course of the last few weeks, we actually started to see some companies coming on board, actually raising funds to create XRP reserve within their company, and that can really show you where things are really going. And remember the 1,700 plus NDAs, we cannot be forgetting about that. And I cannot wait to see what that is going to be, because the 1,700 plus NDAs is not something people are making or speculating upon. This is a reality. This is core documents that state that there are 1,700 plus NDAs that Ripple has signed that we do not know of. And I think that could really bring in more excitement once we do kind of start finding out what those are, when we could find out, of course. But let's move forward. Look at this, Government Blockchain Association study mentioned Ripple and XRP as a DLT company that can support FedNow. Impact of cryptocurrencies on adoption on government. And you can see this has been documented. And, this is from a Government Blockchain Association. These guys are aware of what Ripple is building. Believe it or not, a lot of people overlook that. But the big players, smart money, understands what is happening right in front of us. And speaking about, the U.S. debt, you can see what Chad says. U.S. debt passes $37 trillion. We're coming for it. XRP ledger. But now let's take a look at what's happening with the price going into Friday morning, and then we'll wrap it up. So if you're looking at the Bitcoin dominance, it has picked up over the course of the last few hours. We were sitting at about 64.8% right now. As of going into Friday morning, currently sitting at about 64.94%. While BTC on the other hand is still ranging within this accumulation pattern, as I've stated to you guys before. Pretty much since the beginning of this week, we have been ranging back and forth within this level. It's really important to reclaim back above 106,800. I know I sound like a broken record, but that is the level where I turn bullish and start targeting the 109 to 110,000 price point for BTC. As far as XRP is concerned, still ranging here. Very similar price action with BTC pretty much since the 17th. You're starting to see a very similar pattern playing out for XRP as well. But we got to take it one step at a time. Let me know down below what you guys think. Thank you for all your support. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.